Good morning, and what is going on, everybody? It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. I feel like it's way too cold, but still a beautiful Saturday morning nonetheless. Alton's got his lights on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It gives me like really good lighting in the room.
Yeah, it does. All right, so this week, I think the big news of the day, as far as real estate is concerned, and pretty much everything, is interest rates are actually on the rise. Like, that's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
That for a long time. I know we've been talking about it for a long time. You know, Jerome Powell came out last year and said he's raising rates, he's tapering off bond buys, he's doing all the things, and interest rates finally went up almost half a point to 3.4%. It is what it is, guys. We're here.
You're saying 30 days ago you could have gotten a 30-year fix somewhere around 3%, somewhere in there,
3.125, somewhere right in that range.
And now we're more like 3.4, 3.5, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That fast.
Yeah.
That fast. And for
all your interest rate. Here's another way to think about that. That's what so 0.5% on $100,000 is what? $500 a year?
Yep.
Okay, so $500 a year divided by 12.
About $40 a month, 42
$42 a month, 41.67 or something. Yeah. So the 30-year fix just went up by $40 for every 100,000 you borrow.
Yep.
Right.
If you're borrowing $500,000, you're $200 a month difference.
$200. Yeah.
Today versus 3 weeks ago.
Yep. Now, by the way, before the pandemic started, interest rates were at 4. Right? It's like if we rewind like to, 2-3 years ago, interest rates kind of hung out somewhere 3.75 to 4.25. I remember before I refinanced our loan, Mike, I think at one point I had a 4% rate. I think at one point I had a 4.5% rate, and it was, and that's a very good rate. So there's some context, there's some perspective here. That's not what you're getting at with this conversation, but there is some context and perspective. My point is like if I were someone looking to move to go be on a lake or move for some reason, like I wouldn't not do it over that. It's like if we look at historical context, that's all I'm saying. But anyway, but yeah, no, 3.4. So what do you think the impact of that is?
Well, and right now, I mean, at this exact moment in time, and for the next probably 45 days or so, the impact is going to be very low. And here's why. A lot of these guys have rate locks, right? And right now you can lock a rate all the way out to 90 days if you really need to. So we've got some time there. We literally, like if you're selling a home and you're getting ready for market and you're targeting February 1st to February 15th, do whatever you can to pull it up. For 2 reasons. One, you've got buyers that can pay more because the rate's lower on their lock. Number two, all your competitors are going to start coming to market early this year, just like they did last year. So we saw the spring market hit last year somewhere around the first week of February instead of middle of March like usual. Like it just is what it is, right? We all, and whether you were in the real estate market or you weren't in the real estate market or paying attention or not paying attention, what happened was in January, we had the lowest inventory we had had in 40 years on the market. A lot of sellers that were looking to sell in March or April and May saw that, and they took action in February. And the buyers were already out there. And so that created this whirlwind of sellers and buyers on the market at the same time. And that's where we had that extremely hot market that caused property values to go up 20% year over year from July of 19 to July of 20. It was that February, March, April, May push because the sellers were coming to market and the buyers were already waiting for them, right? And sellers started to come to market early. I think we're going to see the same thing this year. Like this, if I remember right, we've got 14 open houses this weekend, something like that booked, which is a lot, yeah, for January. And the inventory levels are still at or near bottom levels, like literally. Like we've got buyers that are just sitting there waiting for something to come on the market, anything to come on the market, because they also have this rate lock that's coming up, and all of a sudden everything's going to get more expensive. And if you got a $500,000 buyer and they're targeted this specific interest, this specific payment, their top number just went down 30 or 40,000.
Yeah.
If you've got a $300,000 buyer And now with this half a point or almost half a point increase, their top number isn't 300 anymore. Their top number is now 270.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at right now. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. So where I see things going, or where I feel like things are going to go, is I think the Fed is going to back off the rate a little bit in February, March, maybe bring it back to a 3.25 or a 3.3 or a 3.35, just back it off like a tenth or an eighth. And then by the end of summer, we're going to be right back up at 3.7 to 4%.
You think? So you think they shocked the system a little bit just to see what would happen?
I think they unintentionally shocked the system because remember like nothing exists in a vacuum, nothing exists in a silo, right?
Yeah.
So from the beginning of the year to now, the Nasdaq's down a full 4%, and that's simply your tech stocks.
Sure.
Tech stocks have gotten just hammered since the beginning of the year, hammered. Right?
By the way, Mike, why do tech stocks get hammered when interest rates go up?
That's a great question. So the tech stocks got hammered because tech and tech stocks are looked at as volatile, right? Like, yes, they've been going up consistently for the last 3 years without fail, right? Literally, they have been. Like you could not lose betting on any company pretty much on the Nasdaq, almost any company.
Yeah.
But we've seen a couple of different things happen. We've seen some of the institutional investors get a little weary or a little leery of the IPOs because a vast majority of IPOs last year ended the year lower, and I mean significantly lower. We saw some of the other what we call tech companies, whether they are or not, like Peloton, just completely blow up. Their stock's down 70%. And when the interest rates go up, that also means that the bonds go up, the bond interest rate, right? So the 10-year Treasury note specifically goes up. So now as an investor, a lot of institutional investors are saying, man, bonds were paying 0.01%. Now I can make 1% or 1.25% on my money. It's not a lot of money, but it's good to mitigate the risk of the tech stock up here with something that's at least a steady income down here. And somewhere in the middle, I'm still doing great.
Yep.
Right? Which is just the theory of you don't have all your eggs in one basket, which is where the winning strategy over the last 5 years has been have a couple of good stocks, have a couple of ETFs, have a couple of mutuals. Also, you may want to buy some gold just in case. And you want to buy a little crypto or some Bitcoin, and you want to have a rental property. Like that's the literal winning strategy, right? And it's the main theory of investing. It's an actual investing theory. So investors started saying, okay, we now are getting a return on some bonds. We're going to shift some of our money from Apple, Tesla, Peloton, Rivian, all of these companies, that we're going to shoot it over into the bond market, because if things go sideways here, at least we know we're good here.
Yeah, people have viewed obviously bond as a protectionism mechanism investment historically, and so the more nervous people get about the market, and the more it's instead of saying like, hey, I'm going to chase something. I'm going to chase something that's going to go up in value a ton. Like I'm going to hit some singles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so all right, back to the bond side. So you think that they're going to it shocked the system, follow the money. It's creating too much turmoil in the market, so they're going to pull it back, and then they're going to shoot it up again this summer. That's what you're.
Yep. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. I think we're going to see interest rates come down just a wee bit towards the end of next week or the beginning of the week following, because the intention of raising the interest rates is not to hurt the economy or hurt the S&P 500 or hurt the Nasdaq or hurt any of these things, right? Like it's not intended to bring the Dow down.
Right. Yeah.
It's intended to slow the meteoric rise of the economy. Yeah. I mean, we're in a weird place. Like right now, these institutional investors, most of these guys practice genuine, like the genuine principles of accounting or genuine principles of economics when it comes to investing. So taking something like Disney, just as an example, right? It's been a great stock for me for the last year and a half. It did great. I invested in it as soon as it was cut back during the crash back in 2020. And it's selling at a 91 multiple. So literally the stock is valued at 91 times the revenue earned. Yeah. And that's an insane investment.
You're seemingly buying Disney at a premium, no question about it.
Yeah. I mean, like what most investors target are 12 or 14 PE, price to earnings ratio. So whatever your earnings are, the stock should be worth 12 to 14 times that.
91.
Yeah, Disney's at 91. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm curious what Tesla's is.
You know what's wild? So you started this conversation talking about like, hey, look, there's going to be the interest rates going up. It's going to cause some people maybe not to get out of the market, but it's going to cause some people to downgrade what they're willing to pay in the market, like for homes, right? So specifically as a buyer, specifically as a seller, and so it's like one of the things that we experience no matter what the market is people move. I mean, look, people don't move because of price and interest rates. People move because some kind of a life event, right? So here's like people have a baby. Like I'm working with a client right now. They're pregnant. It's like they're going to have to move at some point. And so what we're trying to figure out is, can we time it before the baby comes or after? And of course, it's like, and mama wants to move before, because who wants to be moving with a 1-year-old or a 6-month-old? Do you know what I mean? Like, and
Nobody.
That nesting element, like getting the house ready, getting the whole thing, right? It's like people need to downsize. People get relocated. People want to go onto lakes. People want to go onto golf courses. Like, this is why people move. It's life events or lifestyle events, right? And so as interest rates go up, it's not going to necessarily, now there's going to be a certain amount of those clients that just pull out of the market completely, right? Like, hey, like as a matter of fact, you had mentioned it on our team call yesterday with our entire organization. You had said, on Thursday we did a really cool event where we taught a room full of real estate agents a bunch of things, actually. And Mike, you were dropping knowledge bombs, but you said 1% interest rate increase will take out 8% of people willing to buy a home.
They'll just choose not to buy.
Just choose not to buy.
Yeah. They'll just choose not to buy. And a lot of the reasons are like there's a value to renting a house, right? I mean, there's a value to be a renter, not a homeowner.
Sure.
Right? And a lot of it is, you don't have the maintenance issues. You can be more transient. You can move more often. I mean, there are a lot of bonuses to it, because there are a lot of costs outside the payment to a home, right? At some point, you're going to do roofs, windows, furnaces, ACs, like all that stuff.
Yep.
When the interest rate goes up and the payment goes up and it gets closer to what you're paying in rent, 8% of the people per point generally say, you know what? I'm just going to stay a renter. I'm
going to chill.
Yeah.
So we lost 4% of home buyers last week.
Yeah.
Based on that.
Okay. Because our inquiries from buyers is higher this year than it was last year.
It's wild. Which is leading to my next statement. It's like, you guys, the biggest challenge in the real estate market, like we're talking about interest rates, and you read articles on whatever you, Apple News or CNBC or HGTV, whatever it is that you guys get information from around the housing market, Zillow, whatever. It's like all of these other conversations are sidebar conversations to the one main conversation, which is there's no inventory, right? Like historically, to meet the demand of what is necessary, there is. See, I don't want to say absolute no inventory, but there's a very limited amount of inventory, and that's the biggest thing that's handcuffing the real estate market, right, Mike? I mean, so 4% or 8% of home buyers dropping out is probably okay, if not probably welcomed, maybe even a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's still an inventory thing.
I'm not mad about it. Because it provides a little bit of pressure relief for the buyers that are there that have just been beat out offer after offer after offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I will say, I mean, guys, if you're out there and you're thinking about purchasing a home, again, today, I mean, it just the old Japanese adage, when was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. Right? We still have people. I love this. We had people back in 2019. Right? In 2018, even saying, no, I'm going to hold off for a couple, 6-7 months because, it's going to crash in 6-7 months in 2019. Okay. 2019, I'm going to wait till 2020 because the crash is coming. 2020, I'm going to wait till 2021 because the crash is coming. 2021, I'm going to wait till 2022. The crash. Really?
Yeah.
Really? So that house that you could have bought at $300,000 in 2018 is now trading at $410,000 to $415,000. You lost 115,000 in equity, and I guarantee you, whatever crash is coming, if there is one, it's not going to be $120,000. It's not. It's not.
Well, the other thing that people like, and we don't talk about this enough either. Like, what are the things that you do when you buy into a home? Like, let's pretend you're a first-time home buyer. What are the things that you're doing in a way is kind of buying into the channel of payments that you're going to have for a long time? And here's what I mean by that.
Mhm.
Like let's pretend you buy a $300,000 home and you stay there for 10 years and now it's worth 400,000. You're taking that $100,000 a gap of equity plus whatever you've paid down the mortgage. Now you have $200,000 to put on the next home. And so had you bought a $500,000 home today, you might have a $3,000 payment. But like if you buy a $300,000 home today, you're going to have a $1,100-$1,800 payment, under $2,000 payment, right? So it's like, so when you buy that next $500,000 home 10 years from now, because you need it, because you're expanding or whatever it is, like you're closer to that payment today than what you were if you bought in there. You're kind of buying into a channel. Now, over the course of time in your life, my house payments have gone up, right? But not like but not like significantly. Like we're talking like, from 1,200 to 1,500, and then we kind of hung out. It's like my wife and I hung out probably 10 years later. We were at $1,900, which by the way was less than what we were paying when we got together because we each had our own separate housing payments. Mm-hmm. So we pay less now combined for housing than what we did 10 years ago. It's because we locked in on things. We've been homeowners that entire time, right? So there's some locking in element. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm even going to say that a different way. So let's say 5 years ago, you bought a house at 300. Today it's worth, let's say 425, which is about accurate. Yep. You go and you sell that home and you go buy the $600,000 home, right? You have that 125,000 that went up, right? And let's say you put down 10% on the 300,000. That's a good number. You have the 125, you now have your 30,000 out in equity. So that's 155. And you paid down that property another 30,000. So there's 185,000 in down payment that you currently have without adding any dollars to the equation.
Yeah.
185,000. So that $600,000 home, you now have a $400,000 payment, right? Yeah. Or today, you take that same principle of putting 10% down, you go buy a $600,000 home, you're putting 60,000 down, and you have a $540,000 payment, right? Yeah. $140,000 difference in immediate equity goes straight to that mortgage payment, which means you're paying $400, $500, $600 a month more if you wait to buy that bigger home later.
Yeah.
Here, check this thing out.
Hold on.
You can get a share screen on. I'm going to see if I can figure this out.
By the way, there you go. Cool. Nope, that's us.
Nope, that's us. Okay.
Oh my gosh, we're now in the Alice in Wonderland endless rabbit hole.
I've not done this share screen thing.
You want to text it to me and I can do it?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to forward it to you because I got it in my email right now.
That's cool. All right.
I probably could figure this out if I actually sat down and thought about it.
The crazy thing is while you're doing that, like I started looking up, again, it's still an inventory conversation. Like I started looking up.
There you go.
Like I pulled all 4-bedroom homes in Novi schools. Any guess on how many homes are on the market in Novi schools? And by the way, I did above $10,000 because I don't want the rentals, right?
Yeah.
Any idea of how many homes are in Novi schools with 4 bedrooms?
No idea.
By the way, why is 4 bedrooms important? Why am I doing that?
Husband and wife, a lot of them are working from home right now. So they need the 3 bedrooms, the master, the 2 kids, but they're also looking for the office and the 4th bedroom to be another office.
Look, you're a family with 2 kids, like you need 4 bedrooms, or you want 4 bedrooms, that's for sure. 7, Mike. 7, and there's 0 homes below $500,000 in Novi with 4 beds, right? Like it's like I can play this game with pretty well any market. Like I can go, I don't know, give me another school district.
Let's go Rochester.
Okay. Yeah, Rochester's great. Like very similar kind of. So Rochester has 53 homes.
In what price range?
They're kind of all over the map. What's interesting with Rochester here, let me share my screen. Sorry, you're like, hey, can you help me share your screen? And now I'm sharing my screen. Sorry. And then I'll come back and share your screen.
Yeah.
If I go, I think this, no. Here's all the Rochester homes. So like, check out the days on market with these though. Like you've got some stuff really sitting in Rochester.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting to me. So
but check this out. Check this out.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Take that same criteria. Now go back one. Hit the criteria button.
Yeah.
Put off active and put on pending.
Okay.
Now take off active. How many are there?
35 pendings. Yeah.
All right. So 35 buyers in the last 30 days have accepted offers on homes.
Yeah.
That's a lot. All right. Let's hit search.
Okay.
Now what's the day on market? So there are a couple high ones. 1, 2, 5, 7, 11, 29. A lot different. You get a home that's priced right, it will go right now.
If you're selling a home in Rochester, you're either priced correctly and selling in a week, or you're overpriced and sitting. I mean, right? That's what the data suggests.
That's it. Yeah. That is all there is to it.
Yeah. Okay. You sent me the email with the thing that you wanted?
Yeah.
All you got to do is go up to like share your tab instead of share your screen. Do you see it?
Oh.
Like go and look at your tabs.
Okay, I see the tab. I don't know how any of this works.
All right. Well, that's okay. I got it open.
Okay. Let's see.
Here it comes. I got to hit 4 more buttons than I'd want to. Here you go.
All right. Can we zoom in into like the top box?
I don't know. Oh,
there we go.
As it turns out, I can. Okay. Whoa.
There we go.
All right. Is that good?
Guys, this is where we're going. So at the beginning of the year, Fannie, Freddie, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the National Association of Realtors were all asked, where are we going to go with interest rates at or around the end of 2022? Right? Fannie was very conservative about interest rate raises at 3.3%. Freddie and NAR at 3.5%. Mortgage Bankers Association believes that we're going to see a 4% interest rate. Now, if we dig deeper into this and look at Goldman Sachs and some of the big investment firms, most of them believe that there will be no less than 3 more rate hikes this year. And Goldman is now thinking that there will be 5 rate hikes this year, 5 additional rate hikes to this. In addition to
5 more?
5 more. They think by the end of the year, we're going to see numbers that begin with a 4, not a 3. And maybe a 4.0, but it ain't going to be a 3.9 or a 3.8 or 3.875 or a 3.75. Yeah. I think we're going to end up in the 3.6 to 3.8 range. I don't think that we're going to see a number with a 4 because I think that's just going to spook the market too much. I think we need to get to like the 3.75 or 3.875 and just hang there. And to be fair, guys, again, this has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with one president or another. I want to make sure that that's clear. This has to do with our inflation has gone out of control. And this is how we bring inflation down, is raising interest rates to ease demand issues, right? This has to do with General Motors rebuilding the plant downtown and taking 50 tons of concrete out of the market with which to do it because they can borrow the money so cheap. They're going to choose to do that here. But that 50 tons of concrete that go out of the market, right? Those are all basements for new homes as well.
Yeah.
Right? That's wiring. That's also labor. Right? That's what this is. And that's why the interest rates are going to be going up a little bit, is to ease the demand, right? That's, hey, I can go buy a fridge right now at Home Depot and do 0 payments for the first 6 months and then 0 interest for the next year. Nope, it's going to be a 2% interest rate towards the end of this year. That's raising interest rates on car loans, causing a few people to stop and say, you know what? At $340 a month, I was okay getting the Equinox at $400 a month. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It is trying to ease the demand until the supply chain catches up. Right.
Yep.
And for everybody just tuning in here, and again, I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. This is not a one president or the other. This was a situational thing that happened to our economy, and the government poured trillions of dollars into the economy to make sure that we had the shortest recession that we've ever had in American history, which is what happened, right? But with every action comes a reaction. The inverse of those actions by both presidents combined, not one or the other, but both, is inflation went through the roof. So now we got to take a different action to that action, which is raising interest rates.
Yeah.
Right.
So the more money that you pay in interest, the other thing that it does is it incentivizes people. Like the higher the interest rates are, the more that the banks are going to pay interest on your accounts.
Yep.
Not that it's going to make that much of a difference, but my point is that there's going to be other mechanisms that pop up that are advantageous for you to save. Like we might see, like if rates go up, like we might see CDs come back a little bit, like where banks pay you to lock in your money for a little bit so that they can take it and lend it, right? It's like nobody's taking out a CD right now. I remember taking out a CD in like the late 90s or something that paid 6% or something, Mike.
Man, I remember the first time I took out a CD. It was actually Counting Crows, August, and everything after. I took it right out of goodie.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. My mom picked me up from the mall. It was great.
My first CD might have been Salt and Pepper.
All right, scroll down to the next one. Let's go to the next one. And guys, and the reason why I'm mentioning the politics is because, and I'm going to put it out there. I put this Facebook post up with this video just about interest rates rising and just taking a lot of the economic data from a lot of the sources and putting it into one video, which was actually, I think, a pretty good video. Put it on Facebook. I've got like 300 comments and people are like bare knuckle fighting on this thing. Like, oh, it's this president. Oh, it's this president. Oh, it's this politics. Oh, it's this. No, it's not. It's not. Like, let's be real. If we're just going to be honest about it, did Biden contribute to inflation? Sure, absolutely he did. Did he cause it? No, he hasn't been in office long enough to cause anything of that nature. He just hasn't. Did Trump contribute to the inflation rate? Yes. Is he the sole contributor to it? No, he wasn't. This is not a side issue. It's a situational issue that would have happened regardless of whose name was in the president's box.
Well, it's a great point, man. We do, as a society, we do a lot of finger pointing around that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so you can make the argument, yeah, Biden should be doing better with this, but you can make the argument that, well, Trump probably should have raised interest rates back when he could have 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You can make the argument, okay, well, we only ended up there because of this pandemic, and we only ended up with the low interest rates because of the way the Obama administration handled the financial meltdown. Well, yeah, we probably could make that argument, but then we can make that argument based on not only what happened in 9/11, but also what happened with prior administrations and policies around foreclosure policy and in spending and monetary. So it's like this never-ending like point finger to the next administration, and you can connect dots. And it's like, okay, here we are. How do we move forward?
Yeah. That's all it is. How we move forward.
I'm going to get skewered for that sentence, but you got the spirit of it. Like you and I are in a move forward spirit. How about that?
And that's exactly right. And I honestly think that's where we need to be.
Yeah.
Just in general. And that's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah, sure. Let's just not.
I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole right now. I might at the end. I might at the end of this time, but I don't even want to go down it. So let's look at price appreciation. Okay. And again, we've got Fannie, Freddie, the Mortgage Bankers Association. I don't know what HPAES is. Zelman is an investment company, and the National Association of Realtors, right?
Yeah.
So on the high end, and notice that it's Fannie that's looking at a 7.4% appreciation.
Yep.
They also believe that the interest rates are going to end at
high.
the lowest at 3.3.
Lower, right?
Yeah. Go figure. The reality is, I think we're going to sit around 6% appreciation. At the end of the year, I think that's where we're going to be. I think we're going to move up rapidly through the spring into the summer. and then it's going to slow down going into fall and winter and become much more of a normalized market as the interest rates go up in Q3. That's where I really see it going, right? Now, this is just one of those situations where, and again, guys, it's almost impossible to time buying the stock on the right day and selling the stock on the right day, right?
Yes.
Actually, let me rephrase it differently. It is actually physically impossible to do
It's
that.
impossible.
Right? But if we could do that with real estate, now is the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're looking to sell and downsize, could you get 2 or 3% more for your house? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next couple of months you do. But here's what I also know. When the interest rates go up again 2 more times and they hit that 3.5 to 3.75 range, number of buyers will start moving out of the market. Number of buyers will go down. So instead of getting 2 or 3 or 4 offers and really commanding some amazing terms, that ability will go away for sellers. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you're considering getting on the market, and again, I'm cautioning people, start targeting that February timeframe. And the reason being is because once we get to May, June, July, a lot of the buyers that need to move, especially because of school district, they're cycling into the market faster. Several of those buyers will decide not to make the move because interest rates have gone up. And the end result of that is if we have 3 offers, I can get you free occupancy. I can get you appraisal waivers. I can get you all of these other awesome terms. And a lot of that's going to go away. If you need 60 days after closing to move, I can get you that today. If you need 30 days, great. I can get you that today. If you want the 30 for free, there's a good chance I can get you that. I don't think I can get that in June or July. I don't. I mean, and sure, you might get 2% more for the home, but what if you have to be out in 7 days?
What if your terms are worse?
The terms are worse. So let's say, again, going back to a $400,000 house. Let's say you get 2% more. That's $8,000. But the person now says, and I need you out the day of closing. And it's the only offer we have. Right? Now you got to make a double move. Now, just for the aggravation factor alone, packing everything up, moving it into storage, and then moving it a second time into the next property, just the aggravation factor is a pain because for the next 30 days, you're in an extended stay, but while you're trying to close on your next property, when you need that spatula, it's in storage. When you need this, it's in storage. When you want that coat, it's in storage. When the pain in the butt. Not to mention the cost, because every time you pick something up and put it down, there's a cost involved in hiring the mover to move those things.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, you can have it sit on the truck for 2 weeks as well. Yeah, there are many companies that will allow you to do that, but 2 weeks on a truck, that's $1,500 minimum.
Oh yeah.
Depending on the size of the truck, that's a smaller truck. So a lot or all of that 8,000 will be eaten up by having to pay somebody again to pick stuff up and put stuff down, storage fees, not to mention the aggravation factor. So price is one thing, right? Like, let's be real. Price is important. We all know that. But I don't want to underestimate the importance of terms and the impact and the stress it will have on a family.
Sure. It's one of the things that, sure. Yeah, like if I gave you 2 scenarios, either sell now and have to move once or sell 6 months from now, maybe make another $5,000 on your home, $7,500 on your home, but you have to move twice. And so the stress of that, the financial outlay of that, outlay of that, that's give me the former. I don't want to move. Hell, I don't even want to move once. It's like, that's fine. Yeah.
And let's say the cost of picking something up and putting it down again with trucks and moving and all that, let's say it's $5,000.
Sure.
So you netted $3,000.
Right. It's like, I would hope we're not selling a $400,000 home and making a decision based on $3,000. Right.
Yeah. It's less than the cost of the divorce attorney. I'll tell you that right now.
You went 0 to 100 real fast on that.
Yeah, I did. But I mean, put everything into perspective. I mean, the upheaval for children, the upheaval for a family, like all of those things. If you can pay a couple of bucks to get out from under it, most people will. Most people will choose that. But I don't think that they're given the data for the options to choose that necessarily.
Yeah.
So then they're put into a stressful position, which is where we come in as the professionals that know what we're doing. I can pose all the right questions because that's really what we do. We pose all the right questions to help people make the best decision for them.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
This one's interesting.
Sorry about that. Home sales projected to be strong.
Now check this out. So we ended the year amazingly strong last year at roughly 6.8 million home sales. When I say amazingly strong, we were projected to have 5.9 million going into 2021, and we ended up almost 20% above that number.
Yeah.
Like that's
amount of units, correct? Just the amount of homes
just
sold.
the amount of homes sold, right?
Yep.
Now, Fannie, Freddie, NAR, MBA, nobody disagrees that we're going to be at or under 6.5 million homes. Now, let me put this in perspective. When we were looking at 5.9 million homes, that would put us at the 6th best year in U.S. history as far as number of homes sold. When it was retargeted to 6.1, that was the 5th best year. We ended up at the 2nd highest year in U.S. history for number of homes sold last year. So even though the inventory was quote unquote not there, that's what buyers were feeling. But the reality is we had a ton of property come on the market. But because of low interest rates, and because rents rose 14% nationwide, there were so many people jumping into the market, and the days on market went down so far, it felt like there were no homes for sale. There were homes for sale, but when you see the real estate signs up for a month, right? Now you can see 2 or 3 signs in a neighborhood. When they're up for a couple of days, you're only seeing 1 sign at a time. It feels different. When you're searching on Zillow, if the day on market is 90 days and we're selling 6.8 million homes, it's going to feel like a slow market because of how many other properties are on the market at the same exact time.
Yeah.
So it feels different. The emotion of it is different, but the facts and the reality is there are a lot of home sales out there. Now, the Mortgage Bankers Association, I think they're a little aggressive.
I was just going to say, the Mortgage Banker Association feels off their rocker a little bit. So they're saying home prices are going to go up. Essentially, we're going to have at 7.3 is going to put us at the most ever. And they think rates are going to go up. And they think appreciation is going to go up by 5%.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a lot, guys.
The MBA thinks they're going to make some money this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. We're just in this interesting place, guys, where and let me say this because people keep on saying this to me again. Everybody, well, not everybody, but I'm getting this every day where people are saying, hey, I'm just going to wait for the crash in 2022 to happen. Show me one piece of data, just one data point based on fact, not emotion, where that is a truth.
You know, it's funny. A lot of that conversation I find points to the 70s. Like that's kind of everybody's favorite argument to make right now. Like, well, look what happened in the 70s. And then the corresponding market crash that happened right around there in the early 80s. Right.
Yep.
And matter of fact, the gentleman at the event on Thursday kind of had brought this up. The thing about making that conversation, having that argument about the 70s is like we were in a period of stagflation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the economy stagnated and we had inflation. And it was like there was nowhere to go to pump more money into the economy. You know what I mean?
Nowhere to go.
And we're not that.
No.
We kind of have, although inflation is, and here's another way of saying that. Some of this is psychological. Like for instance, if we had inflation of 3% and wage growth of 2%, we'd be a gap of 1%. And nobody would be losing their minds right now. Agreed, Mike?
Agreed.
Okay. On the flip side, if we had inflation of 7% and wage growth of 6%, everybody loses their mind. Agreed?
Agreed.
So it's like, but it's the same 1% gap.
It's the same 1% gap, but it feels different because the people, like when you go to the pump and you fill up, it feels different because when you buy chicken at the store, when you buy eggs, when you look at that grocery bill and instead of $70, it's $100, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some things that are disproportionately high on inflation and some things that are still stagnant or even deflated.
Right.
So you look at that and you're like, holy heck, look at what I'm paying now. I remember 5 years ago when it was this. I remember 1 year ago when it was this, right? But they also don't take into account the raise that they got. Right. And a lot of that goes to a lot of people. Very few people in this world get a paper check nowadays that they look at. They get a direct deposit. And when that direct deposit hits, money starts coming out for Netflix. It starts coming out for the car payment, for the house payment, for the insurance payment, for all those things. So it's a number that only happens both once a month, and it's not directly looked at the way that when you pick up a pack of chicken, a Tyson chicken at the store is.
Yeah.
So you're right. So the feeling is very different. The emotion around it is different. Now that said, we did see about 4.5% wage growth last year, and we did see over 7% inflation. And in a lot of cases, we saw 20% inflation on like beef, poultry, those types of things. So it was kind of way out of whack. I mean, for the first time ever, we had used cars average sales price above 25,000.
Yeah.
New cars average sales price top 45,000. So we did have some things there, right? So in one of the groups that I'm in, called Choose FI, Choose Financial Independence, which is a great Facebook group, by the way, guys. It's all about exactly that, like trying to achieve financial independence so that at some point in time, way earlier than your retirement, you can actually stop working. And there's a lot of cool philosophies around it, a couple of cool books that's out. Unlike Dave Ramsey, it does believe that there is good debt, which I like, right? Just my one sticking point on Dave Ramsey is Dave Ramsey is a very big believer in zeroing out all your debt, which honestly doesn't make the best financial sense. And I could talk about that. But anyway, in that group, there was one post that was like, hey, what did everybody get for raises this year? And some people were at zero, right? There were some people that literally said, well, I didn't get a raise this year, or I didn't get a bonus this year, or whatever that was. But there was a shocking amount of people that were like, actually, my boss jacked my rate 10%.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a 15% raise. Actually, I got a 20% bonus, right? And a lot of that goes to, we've got the Great Resignation going on, which is now a real thing. As like in November, 3 million people quit their jobs, right? And these employers, the good ones, or the ones that are paying attention to the data, should I say, are trying to play defense against it to both keep people in the job, but also keep recruiters from other companies away. I mean, Apple's the big name maker example of this. They gave bonuses up to 180,000 to their developers each.
Yeah.
Just to keep them, because Meta, which is Facebook, they're hiring as many engineers as they can, as fast as they can, to try to build this whole thing out in the metaverse and the universe and the whatever verse it is. And the goal there is they want to be in front, but there's only a finite number of software engineers that can handle this kind of coding.
Right.
And they're
pay the talent, right?
Yep. And whether you're Apple, you're Facebook, you're Google, you're all scrambling for the same basic commodity of people, right? So they preemptively gave a lot of these bonuses out, right? And we're seeing that right now with companies. So that said, one of the things that I have actually helped a couple of my friends with recently is coaching them into conversations where they can go and ask for the raise the right way, right? Which for some reason in this country has always been a taboo thing. I don't know why, but it's always been a taboo thing to go and ask for a raise. Don't know why, right? Yeah. And here's why for employers, at least if they're the right employer, they want to have that honest conversation. Because generally speaking, what happens is because it's taboo to ask for the raise, another company approaches them with more money and they leave.
Yeah.
And the first guy's like, well, shit, I would have given you more money.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're watching this and you want to have a discussion on the best and most effective way to get a raise, shoot me a direct message, shoot me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to have that conversation because there is a right way and a wrong way to do that. And then in addition to that, just throwing this one out there for anybody, maybe on one of these Saturday webinars, that will be our focus, is how to ask for a raise the right way.
Ooh, I like it.
That's probably a really good topic. It's probably
a really good topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because on an individual level, it's the only way you're going to hedge against inflation is make more money. A lot of people can make more money and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Gosh, is that interesting? They think it's going to take off like that.
Yeah. That was a lot.
That was a lot. By the way, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about moving twice, you said favorite spatula. Do you have a favorite spatula?
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all? Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite spatula for different things? Like different spatula for different things?
No, I have like a favorite spatula and a favorite tong.
Okay.
I've got like 5 spatulas, right? But there's only like really one I use.
This might be controversial, but when I cook bacon, I use a fork. I don't even use a spatula or a tongue. It's like I just stab the bacon and
Yeah.
flip it.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much easier.
It's so much easier. Anyway. Favorite spatula?
Yeah. Man, we covered a lot of ground real fast today. What else we got, guys?
Really fast. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, always ask questions. I mean,
Yeah. And actually, that's probably where we're at, right? So let's do this. If anybody has a question, put it in the next minute. And other than that, that was a lot to digest. And to that effect, I think the next one we do, the more that I'm thinking about it, the more I think that it's great information. We should do one specific on how to get a raise, the right way to ask for a raise.
yeah, next week. Tune in next week. Give me some more areas. I want to look at this. I think this is interesting. Hold on. Let me just pull it up. It's like we look at this stuff all day, but we don't always.
Let's look at Huron Valley schools.
You want to do Huron Valley? Okay.
Yeah. Which is a little bit of Commerce, a little bit of White Lake, a lot of Milford, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. So we've got 36 4-bedroom homes and 17 are pended. It's like that's how quickly this whole thing's moving. How quicker. Some of the stuff longer day on market pended.
Wow.
I know. I saw this property. It's really cool. It's just like you got to find the right buyer for this. It felt like a lot of work.
Man, no kidding.
Really idyllic though, and obviously this is a non-motorized lake. Pretty wild, huh?
That's really cool.
Isn't that a cool property?
How much is that on for?
Well, it was pending. It's $949 and it went pending. I don't know what the actual price is, but you know, you got to do a kitchen remodel. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe the person that is under contract to buy this home loves mirrors and in the 80s, and maybe they're going to leave it. I don't know. Anyhow. Yeah, again, same kind of story. It looks like there's like a divide, like things sell under 18 days or it takes 2 months to sell.
Agreed.
In that area. Let me see what's active out there.
We got a guy on here that he's watching us from Dubai.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. This person right here.
Well, hey there.
That's awesome.
Oops. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I'm really curious on days on market. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that's kind of your threshold. Like in that market, you want to pay attention. Yeah. Am I about 20 days? It's like right around that 20-day mark. It's like you're either at 20 days or you're sitting for 60.
Hey, pull up that house on Adams Castle. That might be pending now, but I'd love to see it.
I don't even.
Yeah, just go street name, Adams Castle in Rochester, or Troy, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just declick all those. Oh, there you go.
We get it? Okay. It's sold.
Oh, look at that. All right, hit it.
So originally went on the market for 2.9, sold for 2.6. Really common in those higher price points, by the way.
What's that?
It's really common in those higher price points. You go on the market at $3 million, you sell for 2.6.
It's a 10% decrease. $3 million to 2.7. That is such a cool house. That's such a cool house. See that basketball court? Keep clicking through. This is so cool. I don't know if you've seen this one, but
this is wild.
This is like at the back of a court. Somebody custom built this thing. He bought like 3 lots and combined them. It's actually a really cool house. Just
oh my gosh, this is wild! Look how opulent this is.
It's crazy, right?
Oh my gosh! I wonder if that, like, you see rooms like this in older homes. Of course, this probably isn't that old of a home. That's oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Mike, I don't know that I've ever seen a kitchen like that ever.
No. And chances are you probably never will again because whoever's going in there's
I've
probably
never seen a mosaic tile like that. Like, that is cool. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. All right, you're saying the basketball court's cool?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a crazy house though, right?
It is a crazy house. I mean, every room is done to the nines.
Yep.
There's that basketball hoop, the Michigan.
You see it? Yep.
That's
Check that
badass.
thing
Yeah.
out. That's crazy.
You have a gardening staff. Oh, that's cool. That's that surface court where you can like rollerblade on stuff on it too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, inventory is still the name of the game. Still the name of the game.
Still the name of the game.
Still the name of the game.
All right, guys. Ready to get on out of here?
Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got for the day.
That was good. It's good content.
All right. So next one we're going to talk about. Oh, me too. Yeah. Me too. Go blue. All right. So next one we're going to talk about the proper way to go get yourself a raise. How about that?
I love it.
And there are steps and there are processes and things like that. And I want to make sure you guys know this has been a taboo conversation in the United States because money has been taboo for whatever reason. Like it was when I was a kid, right? We just don't talk about it, right? God forbid. We got to get our mindsets different on that. Because because what we're looking at, I think, is the uncomfortable conversation about money with an employer, but I find it far more uncomfortable to not give our families the life they deserve because we were too uncomfortable to go get a $5,000 or $10,000 raise, which may not seem like a whole heck of a lot, but break it down. An extra $400 a month going into 2 kids' college funds split over 10 years. That's a lot of cash, guys. That's life-changing money for children. That's trajectory of life changing. Or we could be uncomfortable and not have the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week. Good job by you today.
Good job by you.
See you, buddy.
Have fun, guys.